Look, we're getting to a point where I might as well just swap every team out for the Turtles. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the free-to-pause account. We'll probably swap over the main at some point in time. Maybe we won't, but we are here to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know they have been talked about to death, but I think it is well worth kind of revisiting how good they have been for my free-to-play account. Honestly, they've been hugely impactful on my main account as well, but on my free-to-play account, they have been an absolute godsend, and they have allowed me to do things that I have struggled with, and they've allowed me to do things easier than I used to be doing things. And that's kind of the point of progress on your account, is being able to do better with the champions you have, which is absolutely amazing. So let's go talk about how good the Turtles are. Let's go talk about where I'm using them. Let's talk about places I probably still could choose to use them if I wanted to. I'm certainly not using them in every place that I could be. So there's some more places I probably could have some fun with them as well. So let's talk about the Turtles. First of all, just a quick look at the builds that I'm running on him. I've got Leonardo in Savage and Cruel because that gives him a bunch of extra ignore defense. Plus he's going to stack more of it as well. It is a very good build, and honestly, this just happened to be some really good pieces I had here. This chest is pretty nice with some decent speed. This is a really good shield as well, and this let me get him in the rest of this gear, and you know, this gear is pretty good. In fact, I think I stole this from my Husk, which is actually a fairly good set of boots here as well. I do have a reaction piece on him as well, and I've got two feral pieces just because it gave me some extra speed on him, so that got me up to that 214-ish speed. And I'm pretty happy with this build. The only thing that could make me happier with the Leonardo build was if I could get him into Stone Skin as well. But I just don't have good enough Stone Skin combined with good enough Savage, let alone I don't think I even have enough Stone Skin sets in these. Yep, I just, there's not enough Stone Skin health here that's actually going to help much. So I'm not going to use an off-piece chest and ring, and I'm not going to use a non-crit damage set of amulets right here as well. So we need to do damage with him, and we need to compromise a little bit sometimes, but that is too much compromise to get that working for him. So that's where the reaction comes in. Certainly if I had more reaction, I would put more reaction on him, but I don't have a lot of reaction on this account. But yeah, he is doing some work for me. I think I've shown off this Donatello before, but this is the Donatello that I've got with the extra regeneration. Now, I've certainly looked at some other builds for him as well. I've worked him in full regen. I've worked on him, the Relentless works in another regen as well, but this Relentless build seems to be the one I tend to run. The only other thing I would like to do with him maybe would be to see if I could get him in some Stone Skin, and that would probably be helpful overall for some arena, with the high resistance. And to be fair, his resistance isn't great at 300, but I could certainly stack some more resistance on him, build it a little bit higher, and possibly put him in Stone Skin, and hopefully keep that speed up. With the Relentless and the speed, he is really helpful for me in PvE, and in PvP, he's still pretty solid. Michelangelo is in Lethal, nothing else particularly exciting. He's got some pinpoint there as well. He is faster for the Turtles. He's not the fastest, but he is faster. That makes some sense though, because he's the debuffer, so that gets some debuffs out there before you go. He's got a good amount of accuracy. I originally had him in Nature's Wrath, and I changed him to Brimstone because I needed Brimstone for some other content. And since then, I've been actually very happy to have Brimstone on at least one of my champions. Does he do a ton of damage? Absolutely. Would he personally do more damage with Nature's Wrath? Well, yes, because Nature's Wrath is going to just give him a bunch of extra damage. That is 15% extra damage on all attacks. That's technically going to outdamage Brimstone in most content. Having Brimstone is helpful both for the debuff as well as some of the places where I've been using him. It's been something he can land that's added a ton of damage, even if I don't have all the turtles there. So that's been absolutely amazing. Finally, of course, we have Raphael right here. I've got Soul Reap on him. As you can see, he is in Lethal, and I do not have any viable reaction gear to throw on him, which is very unfortunate. As you can see here, we're in the wrong section at that point in time. I just need better reaction gear. It's just kind of a thing that happens on the accounts. But, got him in some good lethal gear. He is faster than Leonardo, but Leonardo is very reactionary, so I don't need him to be slower. and he speeds himself up pretty quick, quite a bit, especially with all the extra turn meter that he gets on that A1. So yeah, he has been a lot of fun. I have dragged him into a lot of content as well, even when there hasn't been all the other turtles. So let's talk about some of the impact these turtles have made. In normal faction wars, we've got, the Lizardmen. I was really struggling with Lizardmen because I don't have a lot of damage. And not that Donatello adds a lot of damage, but he adds a lot of survivability to a team that doesn't have a lot of great survivability at the moment. So he has been helpful in speeding this team up, keeping everyone alive. And it means I can start putting in damage dealers to, speed that up and eventually move on to hard mode. Meanwhile, we've got, of course, the Barbarian Crypt here. Barbarian, Raphael added a ton of damage. Let me swap out a single target damage dealer for Raphael, and even unbooked. He's got an AoE. He's got a bunch of extra attacks. He gets extra attacks occasionally when he's under Berserk. The only problem he has is he's very squishy because of that Berserk debuff, but still keeps him alive. So lots of extra speed there. For Bannerlords, Mikey just adds a bunch of extra speed there as well. That one's not been too bad because I've got Quintus in there, but Michelangelo is doing almost as much damage as Quintus, but also doing enough to extra support the team, keeping them alive with extra healing with the leech, with the decreased attack to reduce damage, and of course the occasional stun, as well as the buff spread as well, the debuff spread, I should say. So he's doing a lot of work on Bannerlords. And then finally, for Shadowkin, Leonardo is my first major damage dealer that I've 6-starred in the Shadowkin, doing a lot of work there. So working on Ice Golem, Donatello, opinion, one of my best and favorite support champions, is doing a lot of work here. Donatello is actually an interesting champion. For folks of you that have Syl and rely on Syl regularly, I think Donatello can kind of fill in for Syl in many places. He doesn't have the revive, but he has the block revive, or the block death, I should say. And that block death is going to keep your team alive just a little bit longer. His A1 has a lot of passive healing. And if you have at least one other turtle in the team, you get a lot of extra passive healing from Donatello. It's amazing how much extra damage you get out of this dude. But then you get the skill resets. You also get the cleanse. You get the continuous heals. He does a lot for your team, and it helps make things like these teams viable. It's keeping people alive with his passive, and then it's just keeping people healed with the rest of what he does. So Ice Golem, he's been really, really clutch for me on stage 3 with none of the other turtles. Now here's a team I haven't had a turtle break into, but don't think I haven't thought about it. Specifically, I think Donatello could break in either for Syl or for probably Mithrala. The reason it hasn't happened is I like having the Reviver as an emergency outload. And to be fair, I may not need a Reviver with the Donatello, but Donatello is going to add a bunch of other good things here as well. He's going to add a bunch of extra healing, which of course is the other thing you really need out of a champion to keep everyone alive here against the dragon. And there aren't any other turtles that deal with the poisons particularly well. So other than maybe throwing Raphael instead of Alice in for the damage dealer in the lead, and then using Donatello so I get those extra attacks with little extra damage and some of that extra healing, I think this team's working just fine. But, Turtle Team would be absolutely amazing here. I know I've shown this team off before, but this is kind of the wonder of the turtles. Is this team is just absolutely owning the Phantom Shogun right here, and I've slowly but surely booked my Michelangelo. So as I have booked him, he has gotten more reliable against this particular boss. The 5-star soul is nice, the same one with Tholen as well, and the fact that I got a 5-star solo from him from free is adding a ton of value into him as well. And yeah, I'm just finding that his passive keeps him alive occasionally when it operates, and when it doesn't operate, that's fine, but he'll actually evade things and sometimes get that passive to still be alive because he'll actually evade the block passives. And if he does that, that's kind of cool. And then he can be very, very tanky against the boss and just basically disrupt how the boss works. And that's just bringing a lot of extra value. And again, you don't necessarily need both turtles to make for an amazing team here. Quintus is actually a really, really good damage dealer in Hydra, particularly because of the way his A1 operates. And since mine's not really booked, he uses that A1 just a little bit more often, although Donnie kind of helps with that. Granite adding a bunch of extra damage as well. And then Mikey is my number 2 damage dealer in this team. And a lot of that adds up with the extra damage you're dealing with Donnie. And he's just going to keep on going, keep on doing damage. And on top of that, he's got the decreased defense. He can spread other debuffs as well. You've got basically, if you've got somebody that has all the debuffs you want and other champions are beneath the poison cloud, he can spread to beneath the poison cloud, which is absolutely amazing. So Mikey doing a ton of heavy lifting here, and yeah, 67.15 million. I've rarely dipped below 50 million on this team against Nightmare since I've, basically built up these champions and finished booking them just a little bit further than I had been before. And the turtles for me have actually proven to be very, very difficult to kill. Enough so where a team like this, where they are team power 440, I don't know if I normally would be able to tackle them. But with this turtle team, I feel like I have a shot. Now, Odin's going to be tough because he's going to be able to strip some of those buffs. I don't have any way to protect him. Plus, he might stun me, but sometimes he doesn't, because sometimes I get Michelangelo going. And hey, look at that. We got Leonardo to just absolutely murder everybody because, well, that's his passive. And that makes the turtles super dangerous. And that is why having these turtles has been an absolute godsend to this account. And that's the other thing that's been very helpful too, is now that I have a turtle team, I can literally make it one of my 3v3 teams and forget about it. The other two teams became a lot stronger because that's 4 champions. I no longer have to figure out if I'm going to be using them on one of these other teams. I have a set team of 4 turtles, and that makes 3v3 a ton easier, both because that team is highly capable, but also because I can then, shift around the other 2 champions or the other few teams I might have. So I can work with my Arbiter. I can work with my Emberus. I can work with my Granite. I can work with, my Morgaine, and figure out a way to min-max those champions for the most effective 3v3 team while having basically only needing to build 2 more teams, which really makes it a lot easier when I've got 12 to 14 really good PvE champions outside of the turtles. And finally, I'm at the top of Doom Tower. I've beaten this rotation before. That's not a big deal. What is a big deal is I was able to do it on full auto or nearly full auto with a team of 4 turtles and a Scylla the Drakes. So the Drakes kept everyone alive, gave me some additional stuns, which was very helpful as well, and gave me a revive in case I lost one of the turtles. And then the other 4 turtles just kind of do their thing and work on slowly but surely and methodically killing the waves. Now, it wasn't perfect. I had to run a couple of them 2 or 3 times. I had to manually run a few of them. I had to take a turtle out in a couple of them as well. But for the most part, I was able to hit go, and outside of maybe 1 floor, I had a full auto wave clear team in the area, and especially this particular rotation, the hards 100 to 120 is pretty difficult. And I was generally manualing those floors beforehand, and I didn't need to manual them now because the turtles were absolutely carrying me. Are you looking to join me and have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends? Well, I've got the link for you. Use my link down below and get yourself a free Elenarl once you get through the tutorial. Elenarl is a great legendary, does a bunch of poisons, does irresistible burns, explodes those poisons, going to be very, very great for progressing in the early game, great for your clan boss team, will really, really help you out. And then at level 15, get yourself an Ugo. Ugo is absolutely amazing. She is one of the best endgame epics. She brings your block debuffs, she brings your decreased defense, she's got a heal and a cleanse, she's got leech on that A1, she is super tanky, she's got a chance to revive. Absolutely amazing epic for you. All you need to do is start a brand new account using a brand new fresh email and use my link down below. Get started in Raid and have some fun. Now, one of the things that I actually had a lot of fun with using the turtles on is this particular team right now. Now, this team doesn't look like it's particularly good against, well, the Scarab boss, but because Michelangelo puts a shield up on himself if he takes damage, he also can evade things as well. What happens when I run him along with Lady Annabelle is he sticks around, he evades just enough to occasionally get an extra attack or an extra action in that helps him, do some good damage against the Scarab boss. It also helps keep the Lady Annabelle alive, and they run for a while. And it's a little bit random. For example, the first time I ran this team, they ran, and I got about a quarter of the way down on this boss's health before Michelangelo died. I had another one where I got about a third of the way down, and then Michelangelo died, and I let that one run, and I came within 5% of killing the boss with Lady Annabelle after an hour or so. After tweaking Lady Annabelle just a little bit to add a little more damage and just shifting a few things around, I ran it again, and the team actually stuck together for 75% of the main boss's HP, which meant that Lady Annabelle basically had to solo the bottom third of it for a while, which slow, but it worked. Now, why does this team work? Well, specifically what you're doing is you're going to be using this A3 here to put a big shield up, and then you're going to get as much damage and other debuffs you can in on this boss before this boss starts wiping out the rest of your team. And eventually it fades into Lady Annabelle and Michelangelo, and with the right speeds, they'll just kind of solo this stuff just like she solos Bommel, and he'll bring a bunch of extra damage, and that's where the Brimstone is going to help quite a bit. So I'm using the turtles on my main account as well. They're certainly built just a little bit differently, and I can kind of show you how they're built on this account, but they are absolutely dominating stuff as well, if not more so, because, well, I've got a 5-star soul on Raphael, which really is making a huge difference as far as the amount of damage he's doing. He is just absolutely murdering things. And, that was certainly not a particularly difficult test, but just kind of show you Raph doing a ton of damage. Leo is there if I need him to do some damage. Leo is one fights that I probably should have lost because he sticks around. Leo is tanky, he hits hard, and he protects the rest of the turtles. And those three things keep the teams alive. Yeah, that means Leo is the easy ban if someone tries to build a turtle team. But you know what? Sometimes you just can't easily ban one of the turtles because those other three turtles could still be very, very effective. With the turtles, I have managed to one-key Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. A good companion champion for this is anyone who's going to help them cleanse, maybe a little bit of extra healing. You could certainly argue that somebody like a Taragi might be an interesting option as well for some additional ally protection to keep Leonardo alive, for example. But there's a lot of really good, interesting options to make this a viable clan boss team. And hey, one of the things you could certainly do is throw a rare in there, and then you have a viable rare clan boss team. Now you can see here, I also did Nightmare, and my Nightmare team did a lot better here. I almost doubled my damage on my Nightmare team. I'm doing like 250 on Brutal. And then for Hard, it kind of scales down a little bit because I actually hit cap on turns on Hard and Normal. At least I think I did on Normal. It is great to actually have a full one-key clan boss team. It should be one of the goals that any of you guys strive to do. And honestly, I think that the turtles are so good that even if you don't have the fourth turtle, if you've got 3 of them, make them part of your clan boss team and then build the 2 other champions around them to keep them alive and help them do other things that they might need to do, like block debuffs or shields or healing, or maybe decrease attack to make it more reliable. There's all kinds of cool things you can do in clan boss that will help and, make yourself a fun turtle clan boss team. It's not a Wixwell team, but you know what? It's still fun. So on my main, I've got a much, much faster Leonardo who is in Stone Skin and Savage as well. So you can see here, he's got a ton of extra crit damage as well, making good use of that aura. And that aura there, the lightning cage, I should say, the blessing, that is doing a lot of heavy lifting. I've got him in a wand of submission as well. That's giving me some extra speed and some extra HP. And that really deals with the weakness of Leonardo, is being sheeped or being controlled when he doesn't take his turn. Raphael is there in the aspect of Siroth to just generally keep him alive. Honestly, Last Laugh is another interesting option for him as well, so I might actually change that out. But Aspect of Siroth has been very, very effective for me. As you can see here, I have Cruel and Lethal, so I've got 30% ignore defense, but also then I have 3-piece reaction, so we are making 75%. And yeah, this reaction banner isn't perfect, but I've got speed and I've got attack percent down here. And oh darn, he gets a little tanky stats. It's probably not the worst thing in the world. I don't have an attack banner that I really felt like using on this particular faction, but everything else is working just fine. Got a nice attack amulet, ringer right here, I should say, and got myself a nice crit damage amulet. I certainly could get that one to be a better main stat as well, but hey, we're working on it, and we're at 340 crit damage. I'll be 351 as soon as I can get that crit damage properly set up on that amulet. And still very, very good speed at 247. Is it end game speed? Not necessarily, but he just does a ton of damage, ignores a ton of defense, and, you know, the extra ignore defense from the extra cruel set's been very nice to have on him. Now, this is probably my most suspect build because he is not in any kind of stone skin, and I think that's a bit of a problem for me using him in arena regularly. So maybe I need to rebuild Mikey with that extra stone skin. But he's just generally been a really good damage dealing champion. And this build's been fine. It's been great. He's got enough accuracy to land all the debuffs he wants. He's got enough accuracy to land that stun, which could be very important in PvE. And yeah, he's got some pinpoint gear and a feral gear, and we're taking advantage of some of these 2-piece and 1-piece sets. And he's ignoring some defense. And yeah, he's got a decent amount of attack, good amount of crit damage, good amount of crit rate, and a ton of accuracy. That blessing is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but honestly, this Irinethi Coronet is actually really nice to have on him as well, because it basically means that he's going to continue to escalate how much damage he does as he keeps doing those debuffs, and he does a ton of debuffs. And finally, my Donatello, I originally built him in Relentless gear, but here is a stone skin and a supersonic build that I have, and I don't know if I've glyphed this one up all the way or not. It's decent, but the supersonic is going to give him some extra turn meter so that he can jump in, expel the turtles, make the turtles faster, and then the turtles would take a turn and then go and kill the enemy team. It is intentionally in a build that might be just a little bit slower, but he has a chance to jump up when the enemy buffs, given this fills turn meter by 2% for each enemy buff on the enemy. Well, that can get really good when people start buffing themselves, and that's really kind of the arena meta. So we got him built with a good amount of resistance in this stone skin as well. So he stays alive. He keeps everyone else alive. I do actually have the Relentless build. Well, I guess I didn't say the Relentless build. Shame on me. But I did have him in Relentless for a while. But I found that this overall has been one of the best builds for me on my main. So I've been enjoying that as well. And again, it goes to show you that you're going to use different builds based on where you're using these champions and what you're doing with these champions. Donatello here, for me, is a PvP champion on this account. I am using, well, I guess, I don't know if I'm using him in any of my Hydra teams at the moment. I don't think I am. And if I'm not, then it's not a big deal. And if I am, it's still not a big deal because the stats overall on this build are still very, very good. There you go. That is all the stuff I'm doing with the turtles right now, not including Curse City, although we did talk about a little bit of Curse City too. But I am using them wherever I can in Curse City. I am finding that even if I don't have the 4-man team, Leonardo is a good champion to grab for live arena sometimes. I am finding I can be disruptive by grabbing Donatello to interrupt the turtle teams, which is actually a fun thing to do on some of my builds. And yeah, the turtles are a menace in arena in many circumstances, so it takes a little while to build around them. That means that they're a good set of champions, but they're not impossible to build around, which is what makes them great designs and very good overall without breaking the game. Leonardo is absolutely amazing. He doesn't break the game because there are ways to counter him. In fact, there are several ways to counter him that, you know, I've both experienced and utilized in Raid Shadow Legends. So hopefully you've had some enjoyment about seeing what I'm doing with the turtles. I realize they're not available anymore, but I did want to do a follow-up with them. I think the turtle collab was absolutely amazing. And honestly, I think my only regret right now is April is a champion I would love to use on my free-to-play, and I just don't have enough legendary books for it. So you guys are awesome. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. You guys really are the folks that keep me doing what I'm doing, keep me creating content, and keep me talking about these things. You know, building a clan boss team from the turtles was absolutely amazing. I was not expecting that to be such a big deal, and yet now I'm one keying on my free-to-play, and that's huge. And all the other places that they impacted, it's been one of the best collaborations and collaboration events that I have seen, because the champions are very powerful, but they don't feel too powerful. I still need to build them well. I still need to figure out how to utilize them. I still do need to invest in booking them in many cases. And you know what? That marks a champion that is not just so overpowered you can ignore everything else and they just win fights for you. The turtles don't do that. The turtles take a little bit of thought. The turtles have plenty of counters. And, you know, hey, if you get caught with a turtle team, well, hey, there's a fusion going right now that should help you deal with a turtle team in the future. Appreciate you guys hanging around. Much love, everyone. And until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.